Happy Friday, everyone. This is Inside the Newsroom. I'm your host, Maddie Paul. I'm just really excited for the weekend to finally hit. I've been praying for it the past couple of days. And the one thing about this is it's just been so cold. It's just been freezing. I'm wearing a sweater today, a very heavy one, might I add, because of this cold weather that we're feeling. But I'm hoping for a good weekend, but I know that summer-like temperatures are on the way for KELOLAND. In fact, Scott Munt has more.
Even though we fell to some chilly air in eastern KELOLAND this morning, temperatures rebounded to the 70s for many. But while there's fall air returning for the weekend, more summer-like temperatures will return before you know it. Along with the warmer air, you'll also notice thicker humidity. Dew point temperatures will warm back to the 60s for many in central and eastern KELOLAND. That's usually the threshold when you can feel the moisture in the air. Along with the higher dew points, air temperatures will return to the 80s next week. Once the warmer and more humid air gets here, it may stay around for a while, as cooler than average temperatures may not return until the second half of the month.
I bet you just loved listening to your own voice, huh, Scott?
Oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I'm sure other people would say the same thing.
I doubt it. I love listening to your voice. You always have something good to say, except when you say the C word, chill.
Chill,
and the F
cold,
word, frost.
Frost, yeah.
I like the summer words.
Warm, hot, humid.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, humidity returns next week.
You were talking about those dew points.
We were talking about your heavy sweater you have.
Yeah, right
on.
here. This is super heavy. I actually thrifted it, but it feels really nice. It doesn't feel like a cheap material, and it's heavy, but it also keeps me warm. So today, when I walk out of my house, I usually walk to work.
Right.
And
I
was
about to ask.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to wear my big, heavy sweater that I just got so that I'll be able to walk.
And it was just that, no jacket on top of that?
Nah, because I was like, the sweater's got me. Like the sweater's all I need. Took one step outside, 48 degrees. I said, nope. Grabbed the car keys, took the car on the way to work. Nope, not doing it.
Was the heater on?
The heater was on, except the AC was on the night before at low. And so, when you turn on the car, it's cold.
Yeah.
And then it's a quick drive to work. And then it's just I never win.
The car didn't warm up because it's a quick drive.
It is a quick drive. And I don't care to let it warm up. I'm just on my way. That's how I am. I gotta go.
You might as well just walk.
That's a good point. Should have gotten my steps in. Man. Oh, well.
Well, you know what? Sweater weather. That's what we'll have this weekend. Today, 60s for highs. Today's numbers, I looked this up.
Okay.
In the 60s. We haven't had numbers in the 60s since May. I think it's May 27th is the last time we stayed below 60.
Really?
I think, if my memory serves correct. I'm getting older. So
you got to tell me on whether or not. How about that?
Yeah, so in fact, I do have that list on whether or not.
Okay, good. So then we have to watch that part.
Yeah, I have to watch that after this. But yeah, since May, we haven't had temperatures for highs.
I was going to say for highs.
Cool. Can I say cool? Cold, chilly? This much of a chill in the air?
See, if you say any C words, I just block it out immediately. I'm like, no, we don't take that.
Thanks for listening.
Always listening. I had to replay your story that you did yesterday about weather just because we love hearing your voice so much and hearing about the summer-like temperatures that are returning.
Next week. Back to the 80s. We'll slowly warm as we get into next week. Monday, maybe some numbers in the 70s to near 80 degrees in Sioux Falls, probably a little warmer in western South Dakota. And then we'll see these 80s come in Tuesday, continuing Wednesday, Thursday, even going beyond that 7-day forecast. I think we have temperatures probably in the 80s for next weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, the angels are singing.
Now it's a golden hour morning.
But how long does that last? That's the big question. Take it in while you can.
Okay.
Right?
I was trying to tell myself, this is the week where I'm going to accept fall and fall weather coming in. But when weather plays like this, it's playing tricks on me. How am I supposed to grieve summer if summer keeps coming back in my life?
No, but that's okay, right?
It's okay for it to just bounce in and out. I'm trying to
You just want to get rid of it entirely?
No, I want summer to stay, but I have to be realistic.
Next year.
I have to be realistic. It's going to be fall and then it's going to be winter.
Right. Well, so we're trying to ease into fall.
Exactly. But I can't.
Is that better, or would you rather have it right away? See, now you're doing the Winnie the Pooh thing.
Oh yeah, I did this a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
Everyone tell us about this. What does that mean? I think who said I think it's like I relate, right?
Is it? I know Summer was over here.
Or it's
yesterday.
like I'm lying. I know. I'm trying to remember what she said about it.
Because the Pinocchio knows.
Pinocchio, yeah. Go. So like, But there's this. This is the thinking.
Yeah, this
one.
could be thinking.
I think that's what she said. It was this, and then
Winnie the Pooh does this, right?
Or is it this one?
No, that's the Pinocchio one.
I forget everything. It goes in one ear, out the other.
So are you staying inside this weekend with the cold air?
I want to be outside. Like I just prefer to be
outside. You got a sweater on. Just wear that sweater all weekend. You'll be fine.
Can you imagine? I come back on Monday and I still have this
still have it on.
Honestly, at this point, I might have to. I just might. I don't know. I want to be outside. I want to. What is it? Okay, I might have to try the apple orchard again because last time I went was unsuccessful because of the blackout.
Oh, that's right.
Or not the blackout, the power outage.
Power outage.
It's blackout. It's outdoors. There's no blackout.
Yeah.
So I might try that again. It's still kind of early, I feel like, for orchards and stuff. There's like a maze that's opening up too.
Corn maze?
I think, yeah.
Right.
And I'm a fan of those. Have you ever been to a haunted corn maze before?
A haunted corn maze?
Yeah, when they have like actors in there to like jump out and get you.
No. Nope. You know what? Our first date, Melanie and I, our first date, we went to the JC's haunted house.
Really?
We did.
That was your first date?
That was our first date.
Trying to scare her off?
No, what better way to hold hands than through a haunted house, right?
You're such a romantic.
Oh, I know I am.
Whose idea was that?
I haven't been there since.
Was that your idea?
I think that was my idea, too.
Of course it was.
We fit a lot in. We had dinner, we had the haunted house, we went out to a movie.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Scott, tell Melanie about this, that you gave her a big old shout out on Inside the Newsroom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll just play it for her. Because it's on demand, too.
It is. You can watch it anytime, Scott. It's the best part. What do you got on the docket for whether or not today?
Well, we talked about the cool air, and you and I talked about that, some of the coolest air since May. We also talk about summer returning as well, and we go through a couple of graphics to better illustrate that. But the main headline is the possibility for frost this weekend. We'll get through this. Tonight, maybe in the western South Dakota, and then for Sunday morning, possibly in eastern KELOLAND. Don't be surprised if we get some frost. Mid-30s, mid-upper 30s for overnight lows.
Okay. I'm accepting
and then we take that jump, that's we call it a step backwards into summer.
Okay.
If we're looking, if we're trying to go forward in the fall, we'll take a couple of steps backwards and go back in the summer.
I'm trying to splat into summer. Just like that. What's that called when you jump in the water, but it's like that?
A belly flop?
Is that what it is? Yeah, I want to belly flop back into summer.
Let me think about it.
Let me think about that. Scott, get out of here. I got more other guests to get on here.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Of course, Scott. Thanks for coming on. Everyone, stick around. We're going to jump into some trending stories in the KELOLAND area, and our prison discussion is not done yet. Our reporter, Dan Santella, is joining us next after the break. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. We now have a clearer picture of exactly what state lawmakers will consider in Pierre when they decide whether to approve a new men's prison in Sioux Falls. Dan Santella explains.
Later this month, in a special session, lawmakers in the state House and Senate will decide on legislation that puts a new 1,500-bed men's prison in East Sioux Falls. We now know what the bill might look like. As you can see, Draft 1 is front and center atop the legislation. The bill gives the state permission to buy the land along Benson Road and build a new prison at this location, appropriating $650 million to accomplish these steps. The bill also specifies that the new prison cannot be used to detain people the Department of Homeland Security is deporting. An outline of the legislation released by the governor's office states such a purpose, quote, was never the intent as the state needs all 1,500 beds for its own state inmates. Lieutenant Governor Tony Venhuisen told us how the upcoming special session could unfold.
There's been talk about, rather than having committee hearings in each house, doing one committee hearing that includes a joint committee to save some time there. And then at that point, this bill still goes through the Senate and the House and is debated by both chambers and voted on. So it's a similar process.
Since this legislation appropriates money, legislative rules mandate a specific threshold for passage.
Do you think this proposal will receive the necessary two-thirds support in both the House and Senate?
I do think so. I think more people are seeing that We have a good plan. We went through a good, transparent, comprehensive process over the last several months.
This means at least 24 supporters in the Senate and 47 in the House. Earlier this week, Governor Larry Roden shared his hope for reaching those numbers.
We've got good people that were elected to the legislature to fill those seats, and I'm confident that at the end of the day, they'll rise above the politics. And I think they all know in their heart of hearts it's the right thing to do. It's the right time to do it. So my prayer is that they'll just recognize that and focus on that.
Dan Santella joins us now at the digital desk. Dan, we're preparing for the end of the month when we're going to see this special session, but we got really that clearer picture as you had written for this story. But when you were reading that drafted bill yourself, was there anything that surprised you?
I wouldn't say surprised, no. There was that section that specified that people in the process of being deported can't be detained there. That people were in the process of deportation from the Department of Homeland Security. So that was interesting. No really other surprises. There were just kind of snippets from different things we already knew about it. And it was interesting also that, you know, if and when it goes through, the Lincoln County land will no longer be owned by the state. And just some specifics and details about that we learned as we read through the draft.
And this drafted bill aligns pretty much exactly with what the prison task force had recommended in their last sessions, right?
Yeah, and the legislation doesn't go into the number of beds, but it does talk about the maximum cost. You know, that has been a big concern for a lot of people. And of course, the locations in Minnehaha County. And I was actually mapping it out yesterday because you see that section 3 right there scrolling on the screen. It has the different parcels. So I reached out to the city of Sioux Falls with those legal descriptions and said, okay, exactly what parcels are contained here? And they got back to me, and we mapped it out. And thanks to Larry, our great guy in graphics here at KELOLAND, he put together a kind of a layout of where this proposed prison would be, really close to Sioux Falls Humane Society, kind of near that elbow of Interstate 29 and 90.
I like your little hand descriptions.
Right, yeah, that maybe made a little more sense in my head. But so it's kind of, northeast Sioux Falls, within the city limits, outside of the heart of town. So looking at that too. And, a special session, as Lieutenant Governor Ben Heisen said, there is different than regular session. It's compressed, it's tighter, right? It's going to start at 9 a.m. We'll see how long it'll take. But that, 18 days away now. And I think we'll get more specifics as time approaches for what that will look like.
And, you asked also in this interview too, do you think that the prison will get the support that it needs? As you're accumulating all of these interviews together and hearing different perspectives about the support that will be reached with this drafted bill, is there any expectations that you're seeing as we go into the special session?
I don't know about expectations. I think there are people who are still not on board with it. And
this is what you've heard from your interviews.
Yeah, and it's a tall order, 2/3. They need 24 senators to sign off on it, and 47 members of the House. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
As they whip up support and see who's a firm yes, firm no, on the fence, lawmakers, especially those in party leadership, even though this isn't a partisan issue, will be really aware of, checking next to a name. Okay, that person, yes, they're there. No, they're not. It's interesting as you cover this story, you start to understand different fault lines and different groups within the legislature.
Interesting. Dan, is there anything else that you'd like viewers to know about this story or anything looking ahead to the special session?
No, just that we're gonna be there. We're gonna be covering it. Obviously, Bob Mercer does such a sensational job out there. Yes. I think I'll be going out there too. We'll have online on-air coverage and following all the twists and turns and changes, because I think as you and I were chatting here yesterday at the digital desk, the twists and turns and changes almost certainly are not done.
Yeah, it's always unpredictable, but makes for a good news day. Well, yeah. Dan, thank you so much for being here at the digital desk. And everyone stick around. Up next, we're sticking with Sioux Falls. We're looking at an airport expansion and exactly what that could mean. Kelly Volk is joining us next after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. The Sioux Falls Regional Airport is set to expand. Officials broke ground on a new concourse that will add several more gates. Kelly Vogt explains.
Planes flying in and out of the Sioux Falls Regional Airport will eventually have more gates to pull up to. The expansion will add up to 5 new gates.
Certain times of day, all of our gates are completely occupied. The size of the gate hold rooms are completely undersized for today's larger 150, 170 seat aircraft. So this expansion will allow us not only to add additional gates, to be able to offer new route options, hopefully as we continue to grow, or additional frequencies to the cities we already serve.
The number of times people stepped on and off planes at the Sioux Falls Airport last year increased 6.5% over 2023. So far, the numbers are also trending up for 2025. The city is also growing.
When businesses come in and look at Sioux Falls, they want to make sure that it's easy to get into, easy to get out of when they need to.
The demand is not going to stop. People are going to continue to move to Sioux Falls. Businesses are opening in Sioux Falls. All that's driving additional travel demand. And unless we, provide these additional gates, airfares will go up. And people will start driving to the other airports because we can't provide the frequency, the destinations, the affordability that people are looking for.
Kelly Vogt joins us now at the Digital Desk to talk more about this exciting story. Because, Kelly, one of the biggest takeaways I have from your story from yesterday is that Sioux Falls is growing. And with that growth comes the need for expansion from our airport. What was some elements in this story that you really wanted viewers to take away?
Well, I think you kind of, summarized it pretty well. The airport director, Dan Lettler, talked a lot about growth yesterday during our interview, and they're seeing a greater demand for air travel, and they really want to keep up with that demand.
Was there anything during that groundbreaking ceremony that wasn't included in your story, but you still thought was kind of interesting that you could share for viewers?
Well, something in that I've also included in my story is that what they're doing right now is kind of like a base plan. They want to do up to 5 gates with the hold rooms and, the very basic, that's what you would expect. But the ultimate goal is to add a bar and restaurant, some retail options, more seating. And so they are currently trying to secure the money for those extra amenities.
And yeah, that just really goes into the point of like that expansion that we're seeing with Sioux Falls, which is really cool. Did anything stand out to you as you were putting this story together?
Just that, this is there's certainly a big project for the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. And, I'm excited to see what it looks like as it progresses.
And did you have a photojournalist go out with you on this story?
I did. I took Kevin Kiergaard, and he got some amazing video of planes coming in and out of the airport, which I would certainly expect from Kevin. He has a great eye for any story.
I completely agree. And of course, all those visuals kind of stand out, of course, with a story like this, with airplanes moving in and out, and then the ceremony too. What's that relationship like working with a photojournalist? How does that kind of help you aid your story along, not only with the visuals, but understanding like what kind of shots they got and how you can incorporate it with your story? What does that look like?
Well, all of our photojournalists do an incredible job. They're all great at shooting interviews, getting the right lighting on people, always looking for different things that they can put in their stories. So, we really work well together. I kind of give them idea of what I'm thinking. Here's what, I think we'll have opportunities to shoot, and then they do their part, and it all comes together in the end.
I love it. Kelly, is there anything else that you'd like our viewers to know about this airport expansion or just creating the story?
Well, this plan that they have in front of them right now, the 5 gates, if all goes according to plan, that is expected to be wrapped up in March of 2027. But if we add those extra amenities, then that would draw it out longer.
All right. Kelly, thank you so much for these details and that great insight with your photojournalist and that collaboration. Everyone stick with us. We're going to have more Inside the Newsroom after the break. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. 7 years after the emerald ash borer first arrived in South Dakota, the fight remains strong in the game of treating and also removing these affected trees. Our digital reporter, Marissa Brunkhorst, looked deep into this issue here in Sioux Falls. And Marissa, I want to start off with your headline, because your headline really struck a chord with me, saying 7 years in, emerald ash borer killing more trees. It's just so strong. Why did you stick with this headline?
Yeah, I thought it was just really important to emphasize that this infestation has been here for 7 years and doesn't appear to be going away anytime soon. The numbers show that they're actually doubling within the city, at least on private property. So yeah, I think we can expect this is going to stick around for a while.
So what challenges is the state or even the city still facing where we're seeing more trees die because of emerald ash borer?
Yeah, so the city of Sioux Falls said that it has essentially contained the infestation, at least on city lands, and the focus is kind of turned to encouraging property owners, private property owners, to really understand their trees, specifically their ash trees, in that if their ash tree is affected, to know when it should be removed or if it needs to be treated. And that kind of, if your tree is only about 40% infested, there's still time to treat them.
And then who did you talk to for your story?
Yeah, I talked to Brian Peterson. He is with Urban Forestry at the city of Sioux Falls. He gave me a lot of great data.
Awesome. And then is there any way that the public can help the city get involved in just helping get rid of emerald ash borer?
Yeah, really just understanding like your options when you have an infested ash tree, making sure you continuously treat your tree every 2 years. Like I said, if you miss one treatment, that tree will die. So it's very important to realize that there's also no essentially programs or grants specifically in the way the city can help private property owners. There's not a lot of options. So the responsibility is on the landowner to take care of their trees. So
a great message. Is there any other message that you wanted viewers to take away from your story, or any other wrapping up points you'd like to say?
Really just understanding ash borer and the signs, and that it hasn't touched, there isn't a single neighborhood that is untouched by this bug. So really just understanding that this is still a problem.
Marissa, thank you so much for joining me here at the Digital Desk to talk about these details. And everyone, that's all the time that we have for Inside the Newsroom today. So we can kind of celebrate just a little bit, because now we can go into our weekend. Finally, I've been saying this since the beginning of the show. We've been ready for the weekend, right? Even though it's going to be cool, as Scott Mundt had said, that's okay. Let's enjoy our weekend. And then you can come back on Monday and watch more Inside the Newsroom. We'll see you at 1 o'clock right here on KELOLAND Plus. And until then, have a great weekend, everyone.